Hello, my Stampin' friends. How are you guys tonight? I'm hoping that everything's working the way it's supposed to be. If not, please give me a shout out. Welcome to another episode of StampinWithCandice.com. My name is Candice Anderson. I am coming to you from Hiram, Utah, and it is beautiful weather here. I don't know how it is where you guys are, but spring decided to come and maybe even summer. The other day it was 80 degrees, which is kind of crazy for Utah in March, but you know, ski resorts are closing early, and it's just been a very, very warm winter for us this year. But that's okay. We're doing great, and I hope that all of you are doing well wherever you're at. And maybe the East will quit getting hit quite so hard by storms and it will start to be spring and summer there for them as well. I have some fun ideas to share with you today. Been playing around with a little bit of ombre stuff and a couple of ideas of how to do it. One of them, I shared a little bit last week. My friend Shannon had done it on one of her cards, and I thought it was really cool. So I've kind of used that with another little technique that they taught us at On Stage, and some other fun stuff that I've seen, and something else that I just kind of tried tonight. So hopefully, within something, you'll maybe learn something new or remember something or want to try it. So, again, if you are jumping on here live or in the replay, please give me a shout out. Tell me who you are so I can say hi. I would love to know who's out there and joining me. So, I'm going to switch cameras here and get started. And I should probably put these in order how I want to use them. Um, I played around with a couple different ideas, and I'm going to share with you my first card that I made. And I want to say Leah Thompson is who I was inspired by the layout for. I have a friend who is retiring tomorrow, and so I really wanted to make him a fun card. I know he loves to go on cruises. In fact, he's leaving on a cruise here really soon. So I really loved this happy place stamp set and this happy retirement. And I had seen a card similar to this. And so I decided to make one. But I wanted to play around with kind of this ombre effect that I did back here. And I ended up doing a little bit different card. I like this one as well. I'm not sure which one I'm going to give to him, but I wanted to play around with something a little bit different. And I really wanted kind of a pop-up card. So I'm going to grab my supplies here. And I'm not quite sure why. Oh, I do know why I have those. Okay, sorry. Um, and we're going to get stamping here. And I'm hoping that I have everything I need. I decided to use a couple different things. What is the name of this one? I just got it, so of course I had to play with it. It is the Soft Waves, which I thought went really well with these um, trees. I also used the what else do we have here? The Boardwalk Fun. I love the palm trees. Those were great dice. I guess I used the stamps and the dice here. And then want a sneak peek of a new set? Here we go. Sending Salutations. This is a new set that we did get at On Stage. So I'm going to be using Here's to a New Chapter. I thought that was very appropriate. And then my good old stitched circle dies and the Spotlight on Nature. I love this one paired with this one because I can get just kind of a small outline edge. I like to use kind of this, I don't know, sunburst one, but it lines up quite well to give me just a background edge on that. So these two are both in the new catalog. I was very, very happy to see that. So anyway, so I've got a few supplies here. I'm using Pool Party, Lost Lagoon, and Secret Sea. Um, and I just did a little piece here that is, I believe it's 3¼ by 4, and I've already embossed it. But the one thing I am going to do, um, and you can do this technique on either side. If you look really close, you can see how this is kind of like a bigger kind of wave, and this one is kind of a smaller. Now, all the other times I've done it on the bigger, I am going to switch, I mean on the smaller, the less, I don't even know how to explain it. The part that's popping up is the thinner versus here it's the thicker. So I am going to actually reverse on this one and see how it looks. We're going to do the thicker, but first I am actually going to fold it in half because it is going to be folded in half. And because I know I'm going to get this kind of inky, we're going to set this aside for a minute and we're going to kind of do a couple other things really quick. Trying to decide which one I want to stamp on for what I'm using. I'm not sure which one. Either one should work. Okay, so I am going to stamp my retirement on. I feel like these are two different whites. I don't know why. Oh, guess what? We're just going to do this. And then I know that they match. Make sure that that's big enough. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to stamp this one right on here. And I did try cutting first, but I really want to cut super, super close to what I am, to the words. So I'm actually going to use my cutter and do them afterwards. So we're going to do a lot of stamping here first. And hopefully I'm not going to mess this one up by doing it before I cut. So this is Here's to a New Chapter. And this is going to go here, not cut, but we're going to score. Sorry, that's the word I'm looking for. So we're going to put that one right there. And then what else do we want to stamp? We want to stamp one other thing here. And this is one of the ombre effects. So I have my happy here, which has like this fun, really cool background. And I am going to start with, hang on, I'm going to start with cleaning off this stamp really quick because it does have the darker on it, and that is very, very wet. I'm going to just grab a dry one here so I can kind of dry it off. So definitely where I'm using some really dark colors, you want to clean in between if you're making more than one. So I'm going to start with my Pool Party, and I'm inking up the entire thing because this is my lightest color, so I don't really care if I ink the whole thing. But then I'm going to go with my Lost Lagoon, and I'm only going to kind of tap it along about 3/4 of it. So I'm trying to get kind of from here down with my ink and leave some of that Pool Party at the top. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the Secret Sea. I'm just going to kind of tap along the very bottom. Now I could use a sponge dauber to try and kind of blend it a little bit more, but I found that I didn't really need to. So we're just going to stamp, get some nice good pressure on there, and hopefully it worked. Yay. And kind of, so you can see that different gradient from the darker to the lighter on there. And I'll be honest, I may not quite finish this card because I did a lot of fussy cutting and I don't know that I want to do that. Oh, before I put these away, well, we're going to move them aside for a minute. Trying to do it without making a huge mess, but we'll see if that really works. So we're going to bring in our cutter here. And this is where I was saying I can get a really, really close cut. I can kind of line that right up there and get it cut really close. Line it up. And then I can even do the same thing to get it here. So it gets it nice and straight, but it also gets a nice, really tight cut on that. Now we're going to grab this one here and we're going to put it in at 4 inches. And we're just going to score that and we're going to set it aside. And this one, we are going to put it in. This is just my basic 8.5 by 11 cut in half at the 5.5. So we're going to score it at 4.25. And then we are going to turn it and we're going to line it up on 1 inch. And we're going to cut down to our 4.25 inches. And then we are going to flip it here and we are going to cut up to that 4.25 inches. So we have it cut on both sides, and then we're going to move it to 2 1/8. And we're just going to go from the 1 to the 1 and score it right there in the center. So this is going to make our base pop-up card, basically. And so that we can fold this here. And then this part is going to pop up. And that is why we kind of scored this, because it's going to go on here. So now we are going to, I have one other thing here. I have these little edge pieces, and I'm just going to take my Lost Lagoon, and I'm going to stamp some of these little palm trees, just kind of going down the sides here. We can set those ones aside. I did kind of try an ombre look on that, and I didn't like it, so we just went with it. So now I have this piece right here. And what I'm going to do, because I want to create the ombre effect on here, is I'm going to start with that pool party, and I am just sliding it very lightly across there. Now, if I don't want to get my Lost Lagoon so it goes clear up there or clear down here, I can, because this one is folded, I can fold in half and go here and here. I'm not going to worry about it too much because I'm going to put that darker on there, so it's going to be okay. We're just going to kind of blend it up into this one. And I am tipping it just slightly, so I'm not getting the full thing on there. And then we're going to grab our Secret C, and we're going to do the same thing going across here. And then that gives us kind of that same ombre effects on here. And again, I did this side versus this side. You can do either or, just depending on the look that you're going for. And I believe that that is all of our actual stamping. So we're going to set these all aside. And then I have one other one. So I have these circles that I cut. And I am going to take my peach pie, my light and my dark, and then I have Timid Tiger. And I'm going to hold down onto the bottom here. Hopefully this is going to work here, because the bottom's going to get covered up. So I can hold on to it. If I was doing it again, I would consider cutting this out afterwards. But to save time, I decided I was going to cut it out before, just because it's easier to not catch that edge. And I'm using the brush edge, and I'm just kind of blending some of it down here. Then I'm going to go to the next little bit darker color, and I'm going to do the same thing, just kind of moving down the cardstock here. Make sure I get clear to the edge. And then I'm going to use the next color going down. And they are blending, so I can blend them up into each other here. And like I said, I'm not too worried about getting that very, very bottom there. If I want to blend them more, I can move back up into here and just kind of get a little bit more of a blend. So this looks really cool as it is, but I'm going to show you something else. Have you ever tried this? Now, this is something they were showing us at convention or on stage, whatever you want to call it. And it is a color lifter. Now, I have used it to try and kind of blend something a little bit more, but what it does is it actually takes the color off and it takes a minute to work. So when you use it, um, a lot of times people don't think it's working because they don't see it moving uh, immediately. So you can see if I kind of brush it across here, it doesn't look like it's really doing anything. And so people think, oh, well, it's not doing anything. Well, and just give it a minute and kind of watch it, and you can see that it's starting to change the color. And I really liked it on this, and you can do it a little bit more if you want to. um we were doing things where we added like little polka dots to things that we had done. um I have a I'm trying to remember what I did with my sample. I will post a picture of the sample of the different things that we did, but it kind of like just starts to take that color off. And I really, really liked it for this background that I was doing, taking some of that color off. And now this is the reason I wanted to do all this so I could clean off my glass here. All right, so then we can kind of start putting most of this together. I am going to skip just the happy part because I also forgot to realize I forgot to cut the paper that goes behind it, but I will show you the finished one. So this one's going to go on here, and we have our little trees that I'm going to add to here. And I just really loved how those colors popped up for, you know, great big huge sun setting behind these palm trees. Um, and the whole rest of the card is the other colors, and I loved this pop of orange in the background here. All right, so here we're going to fold this one, and we're going to take this little piece here, um, and oh, I don't want the glue on there. We're going to attach it back behind here. And the biggest reason I am doing this is because I want a separator, because this card can be used as a gift card or cash. You could put gift card or cash in there, but when you attach it down, you don't have to. You can leave it so it basically um, just kind of open. I mean, nobody's going to know that you can put something in there unless you decide to put something in there. It looks perfectly fine either way, which is kind of a cool way to do a gift card. And I'm just using some tear and tape and putting it on just the two sides here so that it creates that pocket that you could put something in, and there's still plenty of room to write. So we're going to add some glue to these here. You could cut them off. I choose just to glue them down because it keeps the card like more even, I guess is the word I'm looking for. And then we're going to glue this one down in the center here to create the inside of our card. And we're going to add our little palm trees to the side here. Now I've done different ones. Designer Series paperwork's really great for this, and you can make it all match if you want to. You can leave it solid. You could turn this into a pocket if you wanted to, um, depending on what you want to do. Kind of lots of different options you can do. Or I could have done that to match, but I decided I wanted it to be a little bit different. I've actually made this particular design lots of different times. And I just really like it. So we're going to do that one there. And then I am going to tie a little bit of white ribbon. Now I could have tied it just around this if I didn't want it on the inside. I'm okay with it around the inside. I guess it's not ribbon, it is baker's twine. Um, and obviously I need to buy some more. Again, I use a lot of this. Um, I'm just going to kind of tie it around. Doesn't necessarily need it, but I really liked the look of it. Scissors. Scissors are good. I've heard rumors that we're getting new ones. I will be super excited for that. I will let you know when I know more. I've just heard rumors. And then we're going to take that clear down to the bottom. So this retirement is going to go right here. I'm going to wait to glue it because I am missing the other one. And this one here, when we glue it, we are just gluing it right here so that it will pop up, and then our happy is going to go here. And I will show you the finished card right here. So, oh, somehow I switched the things. I am so sorry. I don't know how I did that. There we go. I do apologize for that. So, here is the finished card. I wasn't even paying attention. So sorry about that. If you missed any steps and couldn't see them because it was on really, really small, let me know and I will be happy to follow them in. But I was basically just kind of putting the inside of the card together. But hopefully you saw all of this fun part. So this is the finished card, and it does that. The other part reason for this little piece here is it does create something to catch on. So when you stand it up, it has something to catch on, and then you can see the little words. But I really liked this because it pops up, and you can have the little thing. This is part of the other reason I did the piece behind it, is because you can't see it because I glued it on, but when you use the markers on there, it bleeds through. So it allows you to pop that up. And then, but the cool part is that it lays flat, so you can put it in an envelope, but you have that fun little design on there. So that's the two different ones using this. I did want to share, this is just kind of, you can see this one I did in 3 different colors. I have the uh, baby blue or balmy blue, gray, basic gray, I think. Yeah, no, soft, smoky slate, and then Secret Sea. And I kind of tried a couple different ones playing with this one. I liked the gray behind it, so that's what I ended up doing, but just kind of sharing a couple different ideas of how that one worked. And yeah, so hopefully you learned something a little bit new, saw some fun new product that will be coming out, and I will have more to share. Um, Trying to think. Next week, yes, we are still in March. The following week will be Make It With Me. And yeah, so hopefully you can join me in the next couple weeks. If you do have any questions, remember you can always order online at stampinwithcandice.com, whichever way that is. Um, right there, right there. Sorry, backwards. Or visit my blog, uh, stampinwithcandice.com. Order online at candiceanderson.stampinup.net. I can't talk today, guys. It's been a long day, a long week already. And be sure to follow me on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. Lots of fun projects that you can check out and see on there. And thanks again for joining me. And I hope you have a STEM-tastic night. Bye-bye.